Hello, darlings. It's me, Yoko Oso, and today on the Oso podcast, I have my first ever guest. It is the illustrious Queen of Miami. She's a comedienne. She's an actress. What's the phrase she uses? Daytime Emmy winner. The one, the only, Shelley Novak.
Hello, you forgot at the end, found dead. Because that could easily be my obituary. That was wonderful. Thank you for that introduction. It was great.
Dead in her studio. Oh, wait, I can also... hold on, we're going to throw the live audience in. Listen to this.
Oh, yeah, Oh, that's great. They look wonderful. Everyone's so well-dressed.
We do have a dress code here at the Oso podcast. I myself am in a pinstripe suit right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm actually wearing all fake fur from head to toe. I have the air conditioner on 32 degrees so that I can walk around the house like Dr. Zhivago style. I like to wear a muff, even though it's in the middle of... What month are we in? April.
We're in
April or March? I can't tell anymore.
It's Florida spring. Really, it's been March since last year. So,
have you lost your mind in the last year? I know that my mind. I honestly have lost. How have you survived?
Honestly, I feel I don't think I could have lost something I never had in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you say? I know that in the beginning I said to myself, "I'm going to take this time, this year of being in the house. I'm going to get in touch with myself. I'm going to get my head on straight. I'm going to do yoga every day. I even bought a yoga mat. I'm going to finally sit down and write that book. I'm going to put together at least 3 or 4 productions. I'm going to probably write a short film. And I'll tell you, you know what I got together? Absolutely nothing. Nothing I got together. 1 full year of nothing I put together.
Every 50 Google Docs I have, I've got one that I actually made into a production.
I had all these big dreams. I did read a lot. I did finish a lot of... I did watch a lot of television. I did. I'll tell you, though, you do sober up a little bit because you have to make that choice. Am I going to get drunk in my kitchen and karaoke into a can of baked beans, when Gramps was doing it live online for a while? That was fun, but I said to myself, this can't go on.
Yeah, I can't keep getting drunk in my own living room.
It can't go on.
Solo drinking's depressing. Yeah, outside drinking is
so in that respect, I got healthy during the pandemic, and and I did do a little yoga. There's this little chick on, I sound like Tony Bennett when I say that. There's this little crazy chick. She's on YouTube. Her name's Adrienne. And Yoga by Adrienne. I recommend it to anyone out there who's listening, all 7 people.
We have our studio audience.
The studio audience, while you're out there, Yoga by Adrienne. She's so cute. She has this old dog that hangs out, and she has a slight Texas. It's I did do a lot of yoga with Adrienne, but there was a lot of eating of full boxes of Entenmann's, and there's been a lot of that kind of pandemic ridiculousness. I think the worst thing I did during the pandemic was during the beginning of the pandemic, when there was the lockdown drinking that did go on a little bit. You said to yourself, "Oh, what's a couple of shots of tequila?
Yeah,
I'm going to do karaoke online with the kids from Gramps, and it'll be fun." And then all of a sudden, you're sexting everybody in your phone. The next day, I wake up, right? I said, "What did I do?" I sexted my probation officer. I sexted the people that you text to get help with your FPL bill.
My therapist.
Everybody, uncles. I was like, did I just inappropriate text? I lost a lot of my heterosexual friends over the pandemic.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
If they're not your heterosexual friends in the first place.
Well, I did go really, really hard with the sexting, the inappropriate sexting. I don't know. And I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm sure somebody's going to hashtag me to me at some point.
Oikavolts.
Yeah, you never
Well,
know. They might be like, Shelley, really? Who knows? I thought it was funny. Someone, I probably really, one of my straight friends, I probably really, there's this one kid, let's just call him Sexy Jesus, okay? Because he's a male model. You know, whenever you go to a Catholic church, you see Jesus on the cross. He looks
I'm a
like,
Catholic woman, so
yeah,
yes, Jesus is very sexy to me.
and he's very sexy. He's always got, he looks like Brad Pitt. He's like Jesus. Well, anyways, this gentleman whose first name is Brad, I'll leave it at that. I call Brad Sexy Jesus, and he's one of the first people that were victims of the early pandemic drunken sexting. Let's just call it the early pandemic drunken sexting outbreak of 2020.
Oh,
And I don't know. I feel I actually for my own mental health and fit and to save him, to save that young sexy Jesus with his long flowing hair. He looks like if he waved his hand over you, like your pimples would go away. He's just amazing.
oh, it reminds me of that. Oh, what's her name? That I want to
Fiona
call her.
Apple.
No,
Fiona-
Joan Van Ark song. Like, what if God? It's not Joan Van Ark, but like you know.
Oh
what
no,
I mean.
yeah, well, no, Joan Van Ark of not no Joan,
Well,
but you did say that Joan Van Ark of Knots Landing could wave her hand over you, and all of your, in fact, all of your troubles would. You know, now this is if you're out there, I hope to once run into each other at the Standard, and hopefully we won't get any kind of foot fungus. But on a fun note, now that you mentioned Joan Van Ark, I want to talk about the last time I had an exciting good time in the real world, in public, maybe 2 years ago. I think it had to be 2 years ago. It had to be 2 years ago.
which one?
Joan Van Ark, Michelle Lee, and Donna Mills, the three incredible diva stars of the television nighttime soap from CBS. It ran 14 years, 344 episodes. These three lovely ladies decided to get together. A certain group, a certain age, and of course some fat, but we all things at Oscars, which is like a supper club. They were frozen in time, like 1970s gay supper club. It was adorable. So Joan Van Ark and Michelle Lee and Donna Mills come, and I mention it. I have a girlfriend, Allegra Riggio, who
Oh yeah,
she's
met her, love her.
She's a wonderful, wonderful jet setter, raconteur, but also just like the salt of the earth. You know,
Fucking rock star. That's what she is.
she is a rock star. And I just mention it. Oh, you know, the three women of Knots Landing will be in Palm Springs at a fucking place that serves, you know, Caesar salads and prime rib. And she's like, oh, no. She does like this, like Elizabeth Montgomery twitch of her nose. And all of a sudden we're in a villa in Palm Springs. She grabs my friend Nicole and the three of us, just three strong women. We drive out the 2 hours, I guess it is, from LA to Palm Springs, because I flew in. Springs, and she rented a villa, traveling back in time. That whole went out for dinner the first night at this mafiosa kind of like place. It was just like one of those places with all the pictures on the walls, Liberace, Shelley Winters, Debbie Reynolds. Like this was like the place to be, and we had a really nice dinner there. So the next night we go to the gay supper club where the stars of Knots Landing are. And they're on stage and everything. And of course, I think I had a couple of Kahlua sombreros or something in me. I don't know what I was drinking. Because, you know, if I had tequila, it would have got ugly. But Tony Miros was there. He used to live in Miami Beach. Now I think he's a casting director out in LA. And he was at our table. And he's like, I don't believe you're here. You flew in. And I was like, of course I flew in. So they start in, they show their reels, they start doing questions and answers. And Allegra and Nicole let me write their answers. So out of all the answers, the questions they collected from everybody, 3 of the questions were mine because they thought they were Nicole's and Allegra's, you know?
Oh,
So here they are answering all my questions. And then at one point, they get Michelle Lee. They're like, someone has mentioned, what about your Pollyanna speech, that big, Emmy moment that you had, and she's like, well, I really don't remember. Allegra all of a sudden says, Tommy remembers it, pushes me towards the stage. Michelle Lee, gregarious as she is like, well, here, she hands me the mic. Michelle, I'm like in heaven. I can't believe this I can die happy now. Hands me the mic and I do the Pollyanna speech and she starts acting with me together. We're doing it together. The crowd goes nuts. I mean, I could just die happy after that night. And then we had a meet and greet afterwards, and I got to stand with the three women and take my pictures. And I was like, ladies, for 14 years, I didn't have the best childhood, but for 14 years, every Thursday night, you were like my mom. But it was just like, and Allegra made that all happen. So, and it was just so great. And that was the last really good time before the pandemic, except for the last time I was in drag was the last Shelley Novak Awards. It was March 12th. Think about that.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that because that's kind of one of the jumping points I wanted to, because that was really the last time I got to go out. I know for a lot of people it was one of the last times they were able to go out, and I did that Rent song that I absolutely hate.
But you did it as a spoof, didn't you? Do it as a spoof, and you goofed on the. You did. You changed the lyrics though?
Yeah, I gave it a little a little bit of my own personal vengeance towards what happened at the previous Shelley Novak Awards.
Oh, that was so dramatic. We had we had actual like SAG award winners in the audience, Golden Globe Emmy nominated actors in the audience.
And then you have local drag queens being shitheads.
And then I had to choke someone out. I don't know. I had too much to drink, and I like Joan Crawford. I was like, Barbara, please. And I just grabbed her by the neck. Oh, I didn't choke her out. I grabbed her hard by the neck. The way that you would, go to like grab someone to just crush their larynx, not to like, not to choke them out like so that their white cotton panties were showing as their dress flowed up.
You're you're a New Englander. You know all about that.
I went
Floridians.
I went in like James Bond. I was going to crush her larynx. I was like, and that was just, and we apologize. And now, to be honest with you, every time I see that drag queen, we joke about it and we faux choke each other. And a friend will take a picture so that we can. We've taken like 6 or 7 faux choking pictures. So that person does have a good sense.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, she's got a good sense of humor about it. And the funny thing is my friend Allegra's wonderful husband. I asked him about it, or he just offered up the information. He said, "Tony, I do a terrible accent. I'm going to do him as James Mason because that's the only British accent I can do. I believe there should be more choking at award festivals and award shows, Tommy."
Seriously, how the Grammys had their like lowest ratings in like years. I think it could benefit from some choking.
I think there should be more choking at award shows, definitely.
But then you also that year you did a number from Chicago with Madonnavan, and I didn't even realize this is from Chicago because that's from the original Broadway recording and not the movie that I was born in time to be able to see.
Well, but they did. I think they did do it with Queef Latina. Yes, Latina. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Catherine Zeta-Jones made a phone call and got Queef Latina to be in the movie.
Teen Laquifa.
No. I think I much prefer that version of Chicago. But no, Queen Latifah actually did it with Catherine Zeta-Jones. They kind of injected it into the movie so that they would have a little moment.
They did it. It's like a cut scene at the end because I saw it later and it's like, oh, that's what they were doing.
Cut it? Did they really cut it?
They cut it, and it's like it's a deleted. I have like the 25th anniversary whatever version of it.
Yeah, I bet
so
you do.
It's like it's in the bonus DVD features.
Yeah.
For you people born before the 90s out there or after the 90s out there, it's the second disc. And if you don't know what a disc is,
yeah. Oh, I remember when I used to think CDs and DVDs was like it's going to be the wave
of the future.
They're going to be amazing. Then they started rotting, and then I said, well, you know what? I'm going to burn all of my CDs into my amazing new MacBook This was about 8 years ago. It was when Lisa Loeb was relevant. Let's put it that way, because
Oh,
one morning I wake up, okay, and thank God
you
the
shit on
old
Dawson's Creek.
no, you would know I did. That was Paula Cole. I don't want to wait for my life to be
I
over.
get those two. Like, there was a
No.
time for the singer songwriters back
Oh
then.
no! Here's the here. Let me finish. So the fucking MacBook, I burn every CD I own, and then I sell them on eBay. And the Mac is full of 8,000 songs. Okay, I buy a new MacBook. I put all those songs into the MacBook. It took me forever to put those 8,000 songs in. Okay, the old MacBook still has the 8,000 songs. It's in the safe. You know, the
Hmm.
new MacBook has the 8,000 songs. All of a sudden, I wake up one morning. Apple Music changes. iTunes changes. You can't buy.
Oh,
Remember when they changed it all up?
yeah. Like iTunes is like no longer a thing.
Yeah. So 4,000 of those songs that I burnt in there just disappeared because they weren't bought through the Apple company. See what I'm saying? They were all my
No.
old CDs. They're sitting in the old Mac that's in the safe.
Hmm.
That if I wanted to go grab that fucking dusty old Mac out of the safe, I could. But the new Mac. But you know what? It's funny. It's almost as if Apple was saying to me, Shelley, those songs, those specific songs, that handful, that playlist, you don't need them because it only reminds you of your second divorce. Lisa fucking Loeb, Sarah McLaughlin,
Oh God.
anyone at the Lilith Fair, because we went twice during our marriage, my second marriage.
Hmm.
We're still very good friends, and we joke about it. We were in a CVS the other day together, and joking around, and all of a sudden, "80" by Sarah McLachlan came on. That was our song, and we just started laughing. I was like, we just started laughing because we're just friends now. And it's funny to think of how hot and heavy we were back in the '90s, but that it was like they did us a favor. I don't need to hear "Toad in the Wet Sprocket." It's gonna bring me down.
Oh yeah. It's just like a total Marie Kondo of those old like
Yeah.
singer songwritery tunes that just. I mean, I love
Sure.
people like Phoebe Bridgers, and I just revel in like.
Yeah, Sheryl Crow. I used to live for Sheryl Crow, but I don't think I could listen to that album in one sitting anymore.
Oh no! But apparently, I think she's coming here. Not
Mm.
here, but like there's like a big festival in North Florida happening,
Can I?
and
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, yeah. Apparently, she's coming here with like a bunch of really cool bands at this thing called Moon Crush Live.
Oh,
That
I want
it's
to
supposed to
go.
be this like socially distanced festival. I mean, I have had a year. I have a whole
Yeah.
year without like live music and
Yeah.
being
Oh, I would
bombarded
go in
by
a
sweaty
second.
people.
Yeah, I would go in a second, please. Yes, hey, if listen, if I can go to Publix and go get my sub sandwich, I can go see Sheryl Crow outdoors. But let me tell
Exactly.
you, can I tell you a quick funny story about Lisa Loeb? Another story
Yes,
about
please. Oh,
that you would think, okay, with the sweet glasses, and remember she was like, "You say
yeah,
you
she's
wanna
like
hear
one of
what
those
you
totally
want
innocent
to." Yeah.
girls.
Well, this fuck, she thought she was going to reinvent herself as a fucking. She did an album of child songs, just like they do. Natalie Merchant did it.
Oh
But
yeah.
Natalie Merchant, when she does it, it's authentic.
Hmm.
Lisa Loeb was a cash-in. So I bring my 12-year-old. No, at the time she wasn't 12. I think she was 9. I bring my 9-year-old niece. I get her backstage to meet Lisa Loeb to sign the fucking the disc, because she's out there at bookstores signing the discs for the kids album.
It was like a Barnes and Nobles or a Borders or something.
Yeah, and she was so mean and rushing these kids and so rude. And she actually, because we were the last one, she was rude to a 9-year-old. And I even said to her, I go, Lisa, why'd you make a child's book for a disc for kids when obviously you can't stand them? But needless to say, Lisa Loeb was mean to kids. And she's out there singing fucking bedtime songs. So just think about that when you buy that album.
Listen, I always try and chalk it up to whenever it comes to like interactions with celebrities, like, oh, some people have a bad day. Sometimes it's a bad tour.
Yeah, well,
Sometimes
yeah.
people just hate doing meet and greets, and I don't know why they
Yeah.
monetize them. You
Yeah.
shouldn't charge for a meet and greet if you're gonna.
Yeah.
Be a
Well, I
bitch.
don't know. She just obviously did not like kids. It was like I think someone talked her into it. They were
Well-
like they probably were like, get out there with the guitar and sing Goodnight Moon and you'll make a couple million. And she was like, all right, okay.
Yeah. Because your regular albums aren't selling.
Well, I mean, it's been a long time since her heart was broken by Ethan Hawke.
Was it really
So
Ethan Hawke?
that was what the whole Stay album was written about.
Wow, and I thought like Alanis Morissette writing it about Uncle Jesse was like
Oh my
the-
God. Have you heard the new Alanis Morissette album that just came out? It's amazing.
I've heard the
And
remix album because it has like some really cool bands like Girlpool I know is on it.
yeah, yeah, Strange Little Forks in the Road.
Yeah, there was like a
And
remix version of it.
yes, 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 yes. The video for The Reasons I Drink is like she's doing like this group therapy, like they're all going into AA, and each one of the characters, it's like she's the girl from Ironic with the scarf and the hat, and then
Uh,
at one character is Atlantis all made up signing autographs, and then of course she's the woman moderating the group. But go out right now, gentle listeners, and look up the video for Reasons I Drink by Alanis Morissette, because the woman always made good videos. Ironic, the video for Ironic is probably the best of one of the best of its time, one of the top 10 of that decade.
yeah, I mean, even right now, there's a show based off that album, Jagged Little Pill,
On Broadway.
literally on Broadway. Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
and it's directed by Diablo Cody.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think of it because you're right. She does have a very visual storytelling.
And it got cut off at the knees by the pandemic, but hopefully at least it was recognized by the Tonys before everything fell apart.
It got like an unheard of amount of I mean, not many shows open this year, sadly, but an unheard of amount of Tonys.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll be able to remount the production when things go back to normal, because that's something that people actually want to go see.
Oh yeah,
but let's hope but after a year of Broadway being dimmed, will the heat still be on certain shows? Well,
I mean, you'll have like Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, like the Wicked, the big shows, Phantom. One of those things that you do when you're in New York and you're just like, you go to the Circle Line cruise, you see the Statue of Liberty, you get a hot dog, and you go see Phantom.
But I think also too, when everything opens up and people are able to go do what they want to do again, go to the movies, go to theater. I think even the worst of theater is going to be people are going to go nuts. Raves, nightclubs.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be like the end of World War II.
In New York, they're actually reopening.
Only you're not going to be able to grab. Only you're not going to be able to grab some nurse and make out with her in the street and make it an iconic photo. When in turn it was the rapiest thing ever. Did you ever hear? They asked the nurse. She goes, "I didn't even fucking know who he was.
I didn't know this guy,
and I didn't consent to being kissed like that." And of course, we of America, how look at so romantic, iconic. No, it's rapey.
What a beautiful story about American imperialism. Yeah. But I think even I saw that in New York, the off-Broadway theaters are opening, and there's like an Office musical parody that's opening. It's like, that's so 2020, and like, I mean, I guess if something's going to open, might as well be that one to test the waters.
Yeah, and you know what? They're probably doing it. They're probably doing it so that they're in cubicles, so that the actors are partitioned from each other, so they're not spitting all over each other when they're acting.
Yeah, because they haven't even announced the cast in the video for it. It looks like it's just like the regular staging of it. I think that's going to change a lot of the way that people do shows. I mean, even for us as performers, we've had to I mean, I have to try to wear a mask or like something when I'm on stage. Yeah. It's weird with a microphone in my face, but it's also the fact that it's like I got to stay kind of far from the audience. But I think that we're kind of going to get to that point again where it's like kind of safe to have these things happening.
As soon as we're able to do live theater again, I have the idea that I want to find a venue, and I know this little this couple. I wish I could remember their names. A husband and wife team, and they're producers. They produce plays, and I said yes to everything. I don't understand every third word they say because they're like Portuguese or French, but I said yes to every production, because the husband's eyes were so like green and his eyelashes were like Bambi, and they're speaking Portuguese, and the wife is beautiful, and the beautiful. It's like they're in a villa. The kids are running around. So I said yes to any stage production. So they want to do all these different things. So I'm thinking people are going to be dying for live theater. So what I want to do is I want to bring back like some of the classics. Like maybe we could do, Cat on a Hut Tin Roof, only put like, a drag queen in the Elizabeth Taylor part, the Maggie the Cat part.
Are you saying Elizabeth Taylor isn't a drag queen?
Yeah, but you know what I mean, or like do something like, or even something like just gay, some fun gay theme, like do the children's hour, maybe the boys in the band, staircase, bring something back.
Kind of
Maybe
like in the UK, they do those pantos
yeah,
with like a.
Death Trap was what it took. Death Trap had 4 characters in it and that was a lot of fun. I mean,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, some of these
you know,
productions you can do pretty like socially distance ish
yeah. But
because like they
even
have small
people, yeah.
casts.
I mean, the Villain Theater, when they're able to be at full capacity, these are the things that people. I think people are going to be so starved for anything. They're going to want to see things. I think it'll be fun to maybe do a run of maybe curate 10 plays that people haven't really done before, and just even if it was just like the goofy cliche things that people like barefoot in the park, something fun for the heterosexuals, give them something to do. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Then do boys in the band and be like a cut rate Ryan Murphy and grab some fun fucking gays from
Oh God.
from our own little little niche. You know what I mean?
What did you think of that production? I remember seeing it and I'm like,
I was a big fan of the William Friedkin film back in the day because as a kid, a child in the '70s, that was one of the first times I had ever really even seen gays represented in film that weren't that didn't commit suicide at the end, that weren't effeminate James Bond villains, and then again, but. We had HBO in my house, and you had to get R-rated films. You'd have to take a butter knife and pick the lock. And I was able to, and I watched The Boys in the Band, and I said to myself, as a 12-year-old homosexual in 1979, watching this film, which was done in 1967, I said to myself, Jesus Christ, is that what I have to look forward to? A gorgeous New York apartment, a Caesar haircut, slightly balding, and a bunch of friends that are really fucking evil and mean and really, really catty. Is that what? And then we played mean, terrible, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf games. That's not, I was like, I hope that's not what. That was like my first like representation of. I was like, hope that's not what it's going to be all about.
you hope, and then it just kind of happens.
Yeah, and then of course cable. Then next month later they were featuring. I think back to was it the same director? Did William Friedkin do Cruising also? The gay slasher film?
Is that the one with what's Stallone in it?
No, Al Pacino playing a cop
Pacino.
who's questioning his own sexuality, and it's actually, for all of its violence and for all of its the violence against gays but still it's something to be watched now.
Yeah, that's Friedkin.
And when on rewatching it, you realize it's a good movie. You know what I mean? It's really he went out of his way to scare everybody. I mean, people weren't ready in 1979 to see people get fisted in a nightclub.
Oh yeah.
But then and he was using that as a sense of discomfort and horror for the audience, the same way that it's just the way it is. A Silence of the Lambs, or Basic Instinct. I mean, people are always afraid of the other, and it can be maybe lazy screenwriting sometimes, but other times it can be iconic. It's
very accessible,
and it's sad when you're a young kid, and those are the. I remember my favorite James Bond movie was Diamonds Are Forever, and I think the bad guys were Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wynn, one of whom was played by Crispin Glover's dad.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was just as kooky as Crispin. And Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wynn were, of course, it wasn't said, but they were just overtly a gay couple who were out, who were hitmen.
Oh, like Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, going out and killing people and stuff. And I remember I was like, Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wynn, of course, they get it in the end because it's a James Bond film.
Yeah.
But, I think the first time I saw a gay person in a movie that I related to, that I actually said to myself, yeah, I see myself in that person. I don't know. I think there was a movie called Outrageous, and it starred Jim Bailey. I think it was called Outrageous, and he was a female impersonator in the style of back in the early 80s, late 70s, in that style of when you like the way that Elektra has it down so perfect, Elektra in Fort Lauderdale, of being able to go from Bette Midler to Mae West to Judy Garland So here he is, all these characters he's played.
Oh, like actual like female
Yeah.
impersonation.
And this movie is a great movie to seek out young gays. It's called Outrageous. And he's got all these characters in his head. He meets this girl. He needs help with his rent. He's going to get thrown out. So he takes in this girl. Turns out she's schizophrenic. And she's got all her characters in her head because she's schizophrenic. But he helps her. And they bond because, he's got all these characters and stuff. And it's great. And it gives him an opportunity to be each character and portray it. And a lot of it takes place in the nightclub, and the movie really has all this heart because of the little girl, his roommate, the young girl being schizophrenic, and him helping her calm her voice just in her head. But it was called Outrageous. It starred the late great Jim Bailey. He passed away, I think, maybe of AIDS, but Jim Bailey. I haven't thought of him in a long time, and I thought that was another movie that was snuck onto HBO. But when was the first time? It wasn't really gay film. I didn't really. Maybe the first gay film where they were like, where nobody was killing anybody and they were really gorgeous was a movie called Making Love. And that was directed by Arthur Hiller, if I'm not mistaken. The guy who did The Turning Point and so many other films. But that was Kate Jackson, fresh off Charlie's Angels.
Oh, wow.
And Michael Onkeen. And at the time, Harry Hamlin from Clash of the Titans and People's Sexiest Man Alive. And
now married to Lisa Rinna.
Oh, Lisa Rinna, my goddess. Anyways, he was a gay man that meets Michael Onkeen. Michael Onkeen falls in love with him, leaves Kate Jackson, and it was a big to-do, this big movie, because it was done seriously. And everybody picketed it and everything else. But let me tell you, there was nothing better than like when you were a little kid, finally, 1979, you turn on HBO and see two men making love. Oh, my God.
My God.
So refreshing. Even if it was like, the 1979 version of like how people used to make love, basically.
Oh, God, how unfortunate.
The cheesecloth and the candles and the longing glances and all that stuff. It's
what a dark time.
Yeah, it's softcore pornography, I guess you'd call it. But it's not like now where it's like, people are just like HBO's. People are like
be prepped. You have to have all the accoutrements to get in the bedroom.
Yeah, it's like auditioning for HBO girls on HBO. It's like, are you okay with being masturbated on? Okay, great.
Oh, good.
How do you feel about crawling across the room like a dog and then drinking out of a dog bowl? Is that okay? Will you do that for Lena Dunham? Okay.
I never got into girls just because
I watched every episode. I got sucked in. I was such a fan, and then something.
I lived in New York at the time, and I was like, "This is so unrealistic that a girl that would be unemployed would live like this." It's like, oh wait, no, I know a lot of people that are unemployed and live just like this in this kind of like Greenpoint apartment. But I think that I kind of liked more that they did Show Looking.
I kind of thought she was a genius. I really liked her a lot, and I thought it was just really great. But I just really could you imagine the audition for that, for that one episode where the girl, does crawl across the floor and jerks off on her, and having to tell your parents.
The Exorcist.
Yeah, you imagine telling your parents, "Mom, Dad, I got a part on HBO," and I crawl across the floor like a dog, and then he jerks off on me, and it's Adam Driver from Star Wars. Yes.
I try to forget that Adam Driver was on Girls.
I'm sorry.
I got a Playbill mug because Playbill was doing this giveaway thing or like a mystery box thing. And I got a mug from when the revival of Burn This.
Yeah.
And on the mug is Adam Driver and oh my God, what was her name? Just looking sensually at me.
Was it Lena Dunham or was it the chick from Star Wars, Daisy Ridgely?
No, it's the revival.
Sarah Johansson. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. I can't keep up.
No, they just revived it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I want to say like Kerry Russell.
Oh, okay. Waitress. Was it Waitress?
I think she was in Waitress. That's right.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I forget she's also in Star Wars too. She's in
Star Wars too. They gave her a little fucking sword. Good for her. Whip it around, Felicity. Make it happen.
I didn't see. I haven't kept up with the Star Wars current ones.
I like the Baby Yoda, but I feel like that Joe Dante needs to sue because of the Gremlins. They basically just fucking took Mowgli and made him the Mogwai or whatever it was. They made the little cute gremlin into
Oh, the
Yoda.
Mogwai, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody there's a lawsuit there if they didn't already pay somebody out.
Unless that is just the same prop designer or like
Yeah,
creature designer.
or maybe they own it all and it's all owned.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah, Disney. I think Disney might even own Shelley Novak. Actually, I'd love to get a check.
I mean, hey, at this point, all you have to do is just get a check from Disney. You might have to deal with a little bit of controversy when you're.
I would be like Lisa Loeb. I'd be like Lisa Loeb. Get that fucking kid away from me with its sticky fingers and the Cheerios.
Oh God, I would. That's what I mean. If you hate kids, don't be.
Don't record a song of lullabies.
Yeah, it's like being a drag queen and hating bachelorettes.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I mean. That's what I mean. I always try and chalk it up to it's just a bad day because sometimes it's just like
no, that's true. Actually, to be honest with you, it was a backstage thing. We got lucky. We got back there, and she was just tired. When you're on tour and then your backstage thing, you have to entertain 9-year-olds. It's I'd be like get that kid off of me too.
Yeah, it's like, are you gonna be a bitch? Or are you gonna be like just sign it and wave and be exhausted?
I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even meet anybody. I think you no matter what kind of record company thing, who wins what or whatever, So
that's probably why she disappeared for the longest time. Is because like she seems like she's probably someone that gets fried like very easily from like so much social interaction. I think when she's burned out when she did.
Yeah, she's just fine because she has the rights to she owns her musical rights.
And that's rare.
And I'm sure they sell it every time. So every time you hear somebody open a Chrysler and something happens or.
Oh, no, Orange is the New Black when they use that whole song.
Yeah, of course. Oh, she got a big fat check. Let's hope.
She got Netflix money.
Oh, the Netflix. That's like a big money pit. I'd love to get a little next Netflix deal.
Seriously, I won one stand-up show.
Why not? They're giving one to everybody else.
I have seen some questionable things on Netflix's roster.
I actually canceled my Netflix, and I realized for 7 years the only reason I ever had it was so that my parents could watch Netflix. And I said to myself, in the beginning, are they even watching it? Let me switch profiles just to see if my parents know how to use it because they're 80 years old. Let's see if they know how to use Netflix. Let me switch profiles to see.
Are they not just turning on HSN or QVC on their cable?
Or sadly Fox News on every channel in every room. But let me see if they know what they're doing with Netflix to see if it's worth me keeping it because I'm not watching it. I switch the profile. They're watching every softcore porn movie. My parents are watching porn.
Oh.
Everything. Trust me, my parents are not going out of their way to watch Blue is the Warmest Color because they love the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh yeah, no, they're not that much of film connoisseurs.
No, and then of course because you watch one 3-way movie, the algorithm's like, hey, because you watch three men and a maybe, you might like this one. So
you might like Bridgerton.
So they're watching all this fucking softcore porn, and I and because of the pandemic, I had to cut back. So I got rid of Netflix. I forgot to tell them. It ends like a month later. My mother calls me. Why isn't Netflix working? And I go, I forgot to tell you, I turned it off. I wasn't watching it. She was like, well, we were watching it. And I was like, well, Ma, I think I'm going to get Hulu because of The Handmaid's Tale. She goes, I don't want to get Hulu. And I was like, Ma, you're a big girl now. Maybe if you want
She wants Sense8.
Yeah. I'm like, Ma, maybe if you want to, if you guys, I don't know if you want to watch more of whatever the Isabel Hupier's vagina or whatever it is that you're watching over there, you're going to have to pay for it yourself because I cannot. I'm not financially sound to finance your softcore pornography addiction, Mom and Dad. So.
Oh God, how awful to be born in the generation where you don't know how to just like click on your phone and figure out.
No, they're very media savvy. They just were lazy and they enjoyed me paying for the Netflix, but I'm not paying for them so they can watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii or whatever the hell is going on that friggin' station.
Oh yeah, like all these.
I'm classy. I'm a classy girl. I like TCM, the Criterion Collection. If I want something dirty, I go for Agnes Varda. Now that's a sexy French woman.
Oh
Oh
God,
God, that poor little
I'll have
mushroom.
to Google that later.
You will. I'm sure that right now all of your listeners have already tuned out because everything I talk about is basically like panty dropper type thing. They're like, oh my God, is he referencing? Don't tell me he's referencing more Jacques Demy films. Uh,
Well, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask. So this is on my kind of list that I'm
mhm.
cycling through. So as a comedian, you kind of like, especially on stage, you really push the envelope. Like, I'm like
Yeah,
in disbelief. I've heard a lot of shit in my day, and I'm like, holy shit, she said that. But
yeah,
you've got a really a style of humor that like is very sensational, but I never feel like it's punching down.
yeah.
And like you've got every hat comedian these days saying, "Oh, I can't make rape jokes anymore," or something like that. It's like maybe your whole stand-up routine shouldn't just be rape jokes, or
Yeah,
just be
yeah,
funnier.
yeah. Well, I think when it comes to jokes about things that are uh, touchy subjects, and I did the show Triggered about this. Jokes maybe about rape, jokes about child molestation, child about maybe cancer, maybe about AIDS. And I said, if this is your truth, if say you were raped or you were molested or maybe you had cancer or maybe you have HIV, then you can go right ahead and make the joke, in my opinion, because you're speaking your truth. Now, the bottom line is the joke funny? If the joke is not funny, no matter if it's your truth or not, it's going to fall flat and it's not going to work.
Yeah, at the end of the
Now,
day, it
if
has
you're
to be
not,
a
but yeah,
joke.
if you're a sister, and I don't even know all the terms, but if you're a 45-year-old white male and you're making rape jokes, women rape jokes, then that is not right. You know what I mean? That's just you don't do it.
Yeah,
Me as a 53-year-old fat gay man who grew up in Boston, I'll do a whole spiel about the priest in Boston. He was raping everybody but me. The Sereno twins, they were getting new sneakers. Not Tommy, no molestation for Fat Tommy. I had to go polish the pews and count the communion wafers.
right.
Sometimes the jokes, they fail. Sometimes they're funny, whatever. But you can tell the joke, but because if it was your actual, if it's your truth,
Right,
um,
yeah, because I think that especially that's kind of what I've liked about your style of humor, and I think that kind of a lot of comedians could take from that these days. Because
and
it's
I
like,
dressed like a whore, and that priest would not touch me. I
wait,
wore
God,
I wore a little half shirt. I used to wear little short shirts. I would be when I was polishing the pews. I bent over, nothing. He didn't touch me once. You know what that makes a kid that you know how that hurts when all your friends are getting raped.
your
Very sad
self-esteem,
growing up. Very sad growing up in Boston. Go on.
very detrimental to your self-esteem, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
can't. I can't even wear a half shirt as an adult. I feel like I feel back. I go back and I think, well, damn you, Father Gagliari, raping everybody but me. What was wrong with me?
my God, wait.
Well, there you go. You wanted some off-color humor.
That is no, it's so good. It's so good, and I've always found myself like, whenever I'm like backstage or on the side, just like cackling at it because it's just like, you have that invitation into your life, and I think that's what separates it from like people that just
Yeah,
constantly punch down is that you invite people in on the joke to say that I'm not just like talking about um there's this like almost like South Park kind of humor, like, oh, everyone's a target,
yeah,
and it's like you can make everyone a target, but at the end of the day, you still got to be able to like
yeah.
say something.
And your self-deprecating humor is the way to go too. Sometimes it's to belittle someone else or to stop picking on someone in the audience.
Say like I'm no better than you.
It's lazy. It's lazy. It's lazy humor. Um, it's just and sometimes a lot of times I'll have like plot points, if that makes any sense, like written down on my whole artistic the way that I do it is I'll take a business envelope, like a long envelope, and I'll write down like one
Or like a
sentence.
napkin, I've seen.
Yeah. Now, and I'll write down the plot points and I'll put it on the stage so that, like, as I'm walking around, if I forget something or I'm thinking or whatever I need to go, I'll look down and I'll see like, oh yeah, I'll see something like I'll see like a word that says something like when I the working on a porn set. I can do 10 minutes about when I was playing the angry dad in like a bunch of different porn movies. I did it first as like okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did it first for the money, but then I said to myself, this is going to be such a great story. I could do a whole TED Talks about playing the angry dad who busts in on his stepchildren. First of all, who are these people that are craving incest, stepbrother, stepsister porn? But let me tell you, it's a huge thing.
It really is. It's
And
kind of shocking.
I don't know how it started out. I would play basically. I was never naked or anything, but I started out. I was like the oblivious dad. Then I was one time my pupils were dilated. And I was the blind dad who was wearing headphones. Another time I was reading a book and I fell asleep. So I was always the oblivious or the angry dad, and it was funny because the first time I did it, I had to catch them. So I said, "Well, how am I gonna? What am I gonna do this? How am I gonna? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna channel George C. Scott in the 1979 film Hardcore." Now, there's a scene where it's basically a reworking the movie Hardcore. It was Paul Schrader's reworking of the classic novel, which became a John Wayne film, The Searchers. And in The Searchers, the little girl Natalie Wood is kidnapped by the Indians, and John Wayne wants to go find her. In the book, of course, it was much more racist. He wants to kill her once he finds her because he doesn't want her back. But in Hardcore, George C. Scott, the daughter gets lost into the world of pornography in L.A. And at one point, Peter Boyle, as a private investigator, shows him a stag film of his daughter because he's starting to find leads where they track it down, and he's watching the stag film, and it's his daughter, and he's like, "Turn it off," George C. Scott, "Turn it off." And I'm like, well, I'm going to just go in there, and I'm going to, because I have to catch the wife and the masseuse that I purchased a masseuse for my wife's. This was and the whole concept of the porn. So I run in and I scream, "You whores! You whores! What have you done?" I'm doing this whole George C. Scott. They're naked and they run for their lives, and the director's like, cut! You frighten the actors too much. He's like, "Where did you get all that anger from?" And I was like, "Well, my mom was divorced 3 times, and I'm just kind of channeling George C. Scott in the movie Hardcore." And I started talking about the film about and of course, people in the pornography world don't want to hear a cautionary tale about pornography from the writer director, rather the writer of Taxi Driver. Anyways, so they call me and they were like, "You're amazing." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you that usually takes the last guy who had to walk through the door and scream playing the angry dad. It took him 23 takes, and you just saved us 4 hours time. You did by just ad-libbing and doing everything." He goes, "Are you an actor?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a drag queen." And they go, "Well, you're the best angry dad we've ever had." So the phone is ringing left and right. Blind dad, angry dad, oblivious dad. But I'm always catching one time we were planning a wedding and they were fucking under the table.
Oh my God.
So the phone
You're
is
getting typecast.
But the phone is ringing. I'm angry dad, a blind dad, but I did about 15. The money's pouring in. They're calling me. They're filling my head with, "You're the best. You're the best. Look at, you're saving us so much." Because I would go in and I would say, "Well, if you're going to film it like that, why not do this, and film it this way? And then you can cheat this shot. And then what do you need? This reaction shot where you can cheat." So I was coming in and I was fucking like telling them how to film the porn, and I was like, you don't have to use actual semen. You could just throw toaster strudel icing on her face, and we could save an hour and a half. They were like, "Wow, you're a genius." Toaster strudel icing would be fake semen. Yeah, I was like,
hour and a half.
Yeah, you save an hour and a half. Listen, trust me. So, anyways, long story short, just like Hollywood, just like the real Hollywood, they must have found an angrier, a better actor, maybe an angrier dad, because the phone just stopped ringing.
It's like your Patti LuPone and their Glenn Close.
Yeah. And the phone just stopped ringing.
That's your Sunset Boulevard.
And I'll tell you, and I thought they tell you you're the best angry dad we ever had. You can't listen. You can't listen to producers and directors. They lie. just like Hollywood. The phone
Oh yeah.
stopped ringing. But
They love
luckily,
you till they don't.
yeah. But luckily, those performances will always live on forever. You know, and I think my favorite was the very last one that I got to do.
Forever on VHS.
Oh no, this is all on Pornhub. You can just look it right up.
Oh, they've been digitized.
Oh, please! I worked with only the finest actors and actresses that were covered in bruises, used clip-on hair and partials, and that
I was going to
just,
say you didn't do
and that was
the silent
and that was
film
ju-
era.
and that was just the guys. Oh, and the last one I did it really for me, you know, because it was a Christmas themed one.
Passion project.
There was a passion project. The last one I did, I was the angry dad who catches the daughter fucking Santa. So I said to myself, if this is going to be the last one, I'm going out big. So I come in and I scream, "You whores have ruined Christmas. You whores have ruined Christmas. Look at you." And they go, "Are you mad?" I go, "I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed." And then I grab the Christmas tree and I start rolling around. "You've ruined Christmas. You've ruined Christmas." Like Divine, you know?
Yeah, it's a very John Waters kind of setup.
Yeah. And they were like, "Bravo, bravo, cut, print." So, and that was the last one, but that was it. The phone stopped ringing. So that was my brush with being the angry dad and in Florida produced pornography. And the bottom line, what I did take away from it is pornographers are terrible, 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 terrible fucking people.
No.
You would think that I had this idea in my head.
I'm more shocked, less shocked, Lisa Loeb.
I had this idea in my head that they were like, "Oh, my name's Jimmy, and I really want to make art films, but you know, I'm starting out in porno to learn how to work the camera." No, these people are out there in sex trafficking. It's just another sex for money thing, and I did it as an experiment and a TED Talks type thing. I've got great stories. I did a whole show about it, but in the long run, I'm always going to be the angry dad. It's going to follow me around.
Oh, I can't wait to see your live shows again. It sounds like you've got like every show seems like a different kind of set of material. Even this, I'm like,
Yeah,
it's like unlocking a different part of the puzzle